Grodno, January 18th, 1943. The Nazis are herding several hundred Jews through the streets of the ghetto. They take them to a tall, impressive building in the town center, the Great Synagogue of Grodno. "400 years before that, Rabbi Mordechai Yaffe Zitzal, author of the Levushim books, built a magnificent synagogue in the heart of Grodno. The building was unbelievably beautiful, combining several building styles. At its core was the prayer hall, embellished with spectacular decorations. It was a source of pride for local Jewry and was considered the most beautiful synagogue in the country. Over the years, hundreds of thousands of Jews attended the synagogue. It served as a witness to the periods of blossoming and prosperity, but also to the darker times of blood libels and pogroms, when thousands of Jews were killed sanctifying God's name. At the end of the 18th century, there were 25,000 Jews in Grodno, half of the city's population. Commerce thrived and the Jews took an active part in the economy.
We had in Grodno many schools, Jewish schools, Hebrew schools, secular and religious, such as Tarbut, Yavne, Torah Temet. On the 22nd of June 1941, the bombs on Grodno began to fall at 4 o'clock in the morning. It was a great panic, and the Germans captured Grodno within one day.
On November 2nd, 1942, the Nazis sealed the ghetto and began the transports to the death camps. For their convenience, they concentrated the Jews in the ancient synagogue. Between these holy walls, the Jews of Grodno said their final prayers, and from here they were sent in death trains to Auschwitz. May God avenge their blood.
Within a few months, the population of Grodno was deported to the death camps and killed. On March 12, 1943, the Germans announced Grodno Judenrein. It means clean of Jews.
The synagogue remained vacant and abandoned, a silent witness to the terrible Holocaust of Grodno Jewry. For many years, the synagogue stood empty, spiritually and physically, for the Soviets did not allow any activities there. Without maintenance, the building began to deteriorate. Decorations moldered, walls began to crack, rooms collapsed. It seemed the Great Synagogue of Grodno was about to face its final crisis. But no. Today, 400 years after its construction, 60 years after Grodno was declared Judenrein, you are now watching the festive event of a new Sefer Torah being brought into the Great Synagogue of Grodno. By a thriving Jewish community, at the head of which stands the Chabad emissary, Rabbi Yitzchak Kaufman.
From this place, from this hall, thousands of Jews were taken to the trains that took them to Auschwitz, to the death camps. I think that the Germans did not believe that will come a day that there will be Jews living again in Grodno, that there will be a Jewish community, that there will be a synagogue, a shul.
This did not happen all at once. After the Iron Curtain fell, the synagogue was returned to Jewish hands. And slowly, with the help of the local Chabad house, the community began to revive. The Great Synagogue reopened, and Jewish life once again became evident. As the community has expanded in the past few years, so have its activities, now taking place all year round, with the entire Jewish population, young and old, participating. Every holiday is celebrated by hundreds of people. The needy receive social aid and weekly food packages. Varied Jewish activities occupy the children.
The Rabbi Yitzchak Kaufman makes a lot of work. There's a minyan function, minyan. Jews are invited to celebrate Jewish holidays. And among other events we can mention the day Torah was brought. When we went together along streets and passed through the entrance of the former ghetto, and I was honored to carry the Torah, to bring it here into the synagogue. It was an extraordinary day for all the Jews of Grodno that influenced many of us to join the Jewish life, to go on, be active in it, to come here to pray, and to feel that we are Jews, we are united.
The history of the building, its age and its beauty attract many visitors, both Jewish and non-Jewish, from around the world. But it has been ravaged by time. Large sections of it are in ruins. Its entire infrastructure urgently needs refurbishing and renewing.
To build here a new community from the beginning is a big merit and also a big responsibility. Energy does not get lost. Energy changes forms. I'm sure that after hundreds of years, that tens of thousands of Jews were living here and did millions and millions of mitzvahs, of good deeds in this place, in these streets, in this city. This all still exists here. And with this strength, we're building the future, we're building a new community, we're building the community from the beginning.
We plan to set up here a community center that will provide the Jews of the city and its environs with all their communal needs. The building will house a soup kitchen, a kindergarten, a library and a computer room, classes and lounges, a second home to the Jews of Grodno. There are also plans for a museum that will tell the history of Grodno Jewry.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשה ניסים לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה.
We, the Jews of Grodno, want to restore the building of the oldest synagogue in the CIS, infuse it with Jewish vitality, make it into a living memorial for the thousands of Jews who were sent from here to their deaths, and preserve the traditions of Jewish Grodno.